I want to talk a bit more to the almost quality versus quantity side of the equation, if that's all right. Just want a quick show of hands. How many of you would just describe yourself as someone who works hard? Would you put your hand up to say you're a hard worker? So pretty much the whole room, right? Everyone's thinking, where is he going with this, right? Bear with me a moment.
Like, yo, hold up.
Right. So if you now 10x this room, you're probably going to have the same ratio, right? Generally, people attribute themselves, especially being in this space, as being hardworking. So then the question becomes, well, what's the separation factor? Because if we're in a room or, a room 10x this size and everyone works hard, what's going to separate one seller from the next? And a lot of that comes down to efficiency and the way that person prioritizes their time. And so we often have this quality versus quantity debate. And one of the biggest gaps I see is that because there's this big focus on quality, that reps are spending an hour to 2 hours to craft this one email that they feel is a masterpiece and is the most incredible piece of art. And they're just then getting out hustled by the person who's next to them, who works hard, who has probably sent 15 to 20 reasonably well thought out emails and driving 5-10x the results over time. So I do think we have to be really careful in this current era with this quality versus actually understanding, are you controlling your calendar? Are you spending an hour to create whatever your semblance of quality is? And then when you look to your left and your right, you've got another seller who is just out hustling you. And to be honest, for most of my career, I was not the best personalized email guy. I just wasn't. But I just dominated in terms of pace and velocity, and combining that with good enough thought into everything that I did, that I was able to just beat pretty much everyone around me. So I just think you've got to find that balance in the storm.
How do you mentally handle the storm, though?
Good question. I often talk a lot about having a personal and professional operating rhythm for yourself, or operating system. And everyone's got to find that, right? On the professional side of the house, a bit like I mentioned earlier, you need to understand what inputs do I need to drive what outputs. And then you've got to build the mental discipline and the resilience to do it every day, whether you feel like it or not. And the biggest gap for most people is that because it's tough, you'll wake up one day, you're excited, you're like, I'm really happy to be at work today. You run at it like a train, and then the next day you have some setbacks, life gets difficult, and you don't do it. And then you get to the end of the week and you've kind of had a good day, a bad day, an okay day, and everything in between. And then by the time you get to Friday, you say, yeah, I had a busy week, but did you have a truly productive week? Did you really move the needle forward? Or did you just actually end up on cruise control?
Yeah.
And then there's the personal operating rhythm, which is how do you structure your mornings? How do you structure your evenings to make sure you have enough energy to actually work at the pace that's required to drive the type of results that you want as well?